morning, everybody. I'm bright and early today because I got a great present waiting for me today. Let me show you. I got one of the rock stars, two actually. I got Betty and I got Ben. But today I'm gonna use Betty. This stone hole. It's gonna be fantastic for the recipe that I'm gonna be making. I'm gonna be making today the buttermilk bread. It's a very easy and simple recipe, and by cooking it into these casserole dish, you're gonna see it's a fantastic result. So because it needs a bit of time for raising, I thought, okay, let's do it first thing in the morning. I can go continue with my day, put it into the oven, and by the time lunch comes, my bread will be ready. So let me show you the recipe in the Thermomix first. So I put it for today to cook it. So if I go to my weekly planner and I go to my week, I can see that today I have the beautiful buttermilk bread. Okay, it's in the Australia Cookidoo, so remember to show the filters, and I'll show you in a minute how I do that, because some of you have been asking me that you couldn't find some of the recipes that I use from other countries in different languages. So I'm gonna go and start cooking. The first thing I'm gonna need is 180 grams of buttermilk. Make sure you shake it well before you start pouring it into the Thermomix, okay? So my scales are on. Let me put 180. Perfect, very precise. I like it. I click next. I'm gonna need 200 grams of water. So let me put the water. Okay, there we go. I'm very good today. Staying all accurate. And I'm gonna need 2 teaspoons of dry yeast, or if you are using fresh yeast, it will be around 20. So let me go with this dry yeast today. Also make sure when you're pouring it that you pour on the sides, not on top, because it will go on top of the blades, and because I don't have enough liquid to cover the blades, that yeast will not keep mixing with the liquid. I go next, and in this case we're going to close the Thermomix. It's already preset for me for 3 minutes. We're going to have a 37 degrees, which is the minimum temperature to use in your Thermomix for tempering chocolate, or for example for the yeast as well to start activating. And speed 1, so all I have to do is move the dial to 1. While my Thermomix is cooking, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go home. And here I can, if I scroll to the left, scroll to the right so you can see it on the left, what I can do is I can search for the recipe. So in this case, I'm going to search for the recipe. And I want to show you something because few of you have been asking me. There is a section here that it says filters. What filters means is I can look in there is over 60,000 recipes in the Cookidoo platform that, by the way, even if you don't have a Thermomix, the first month is free, so you can access it. So by doing that, I go on to the filters. I can select recipes, for example, looking at categories. So if I want to make a starter today, a main course, something vegetarian, something maybe fish or meat, desserts, or maybe soups, I can select exactly what category of recipes to search for. I can also put the list of ingredients that I have in the fridge, put the list, and then that way it will give me any recipe using those ingredients. So just separate the ingredients by commas and it will search for them, which is really, really handy. It would also show me tags, so if the recipes have been tagged the same as we do, for example, in social media, you'll be able to search for breakfast or maybe vegan, or that will be the different type of tags, or healthy is another tag I have seen very often. The difficulty, so every recipe is rated easy, medium, or difficult. So you're able to decide which recipes, when you start, go for the easy ones, and as you get more and more comfortable and confident in the kitchen, you can start using the other recipes. The total time, the number of portions as well. If you want to cook 2, 4, 5, 6 portions, it will let you choose as well when you're selecting the recipes. The ratings, every person that uses on one of the recipes, you can rate it and decide what you want to cook. And looking at the rating that other people have used it, and it's all around the world, so you will get a really good idea if that recipe has been liked by others or not. The Thermomix version, in this case, is all TM6, and this is the two important ones. The language, so if you want to select only recipes that are in your own language, or you can go into Cookidoo in the laptop, and I'm able to translate all the recipes, no matter the language, back into English or Spanish for me. And then I have the country, and this is the one that you have to untick in order for all the recipes from all the different countries to show up. And when you then click show, there is over 63,000 that you can select from. In this case, you just go and type the recipe, buttermilk in this case, and straight away I get the buttermilk recipe. I can cook it today, bookmark it, or save it on my favorites, I think it is as well. Let me see. Yeah, we are cooking it. So that's the one. The buttermilk is in the Australian Cookidoo. And you can see the Thermomix is still, there is 3 seconds left, but I can go back because it's bookmarking the recipe, and it goes back now that it has finished. So all we have done in this case is heat up the water at 37 degrees and mix it, the water, the buttermilk, and the yeast. So I'm gonna click next. The next step is gonna be putting a little bit of toast on my countertop, or in this case, I have the silicone mat. I click next, and it's gonna ask me for 500 grams of strong flour. Let me put it, it's the whole packet. I made this recipe many times, so I know it now by heart. Okay, I go next. Teaspoon of salt. There we go. I click next, and all we're doing now is mixing it for 6 seconds. So let me mix it, all of it. Let me click next again. In this case, with the measuring cup is still on, okay? Sometimes it will ask you to remove it. In this case, it's gonna need with the measuring cup on. All the steps are always telling me, for the next 3 minutes, let's move it, and I move the dial, I have the wheat symbol here, so already it's gonna tell me that is kneading. So it will be kneading the dough, it will stop, you will see. It start kneading, mixing everything, kneads, stop, let the air come in, kneads again, stops. So you are gonna see that is doing for the next 3 minutes. In the meantime, let me put everything away. So let me tell you about Betty. So Betty, we only received it yesterday, and I'm looking at this morning, so I haven't got a chance to read or look into it too much yet, but I know that it's a fantastic part of my kitchen that is going to help me today, for example, with the bread, because I'm going to put it in the dough. It's going to raise, because it's going to create a little bit of steam inside it, so that's going to help the yeast, and it's going to grow a lot more. So I cannot wait to show you what I'm going to be making today later. One of the things I saw when I was reading the instructions is when you received it, for those of you that are getting it in the next few weeks, make sure that you wash it with only cold water or warm water. Don't use any washing liquid, and let it rinse and dry out in the air, okay? Then you're gonna have to put a little bit of oil or what it says, it was cooking fat or oil, but not olive oil, to create a little bit of thing around it, so that way it will stay really good. But then you just put the dough in, or you could put a full chicken, or you can make so many different recipes in the oven, but using Betty. So that's what I'm gonna do today. It's my first time trying it, so I was super excited. I was like, okay, I'm gonna make bread today, and I'm gonna show you as well how great it will be to have Betty. And as you can see, like, I have also bent, then this is a flat one, and I'll be cooking another recipe in the next few days, and I'll show you once I have got a chance to use it more and more. With the stoneware, how much the temperature? Okay, the temperature in the oven, you're gonna go around 230 degrees, but you know yourself, each oven is different. So if it's a conventional oven, or if it's a fan oven, it might be different the length of time that you are cooking. It happened with the bread the other day when I was telling you about the agua. I have noticed for me it's around 50 minutes. The recipe says 55, but for me 55, my oven is really fast, so it doesn't need that time. Other clients that have been cooking it, that have been around 45 as well. So it depends on the oven, and I find a lot of the baking recipes, sometimes when people ask me, oh, how can I make it better, is have a good understanding of your oven, how long it needs, and how hot it gets. So my kneading is done. I'm gonna stop it. I click next. I'm gonna transfer it. So let me show you. And it's a little bit warm, you see, because I put it at 37 degrees, so it's a little bit warm and it's really good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna transfer it to my silicone mat. But what would you do? Would you start picking it? Or what you can do is you can place it down, and here the blades inside the bowl, what I can do is I can move them to one side or the other, okay? And what is gonna happen, let me show you, this is a really cool tip. Move it a couple of times, one way clockwise and anti-clockwise, and look, all of it is gone. So I'm gonna just mix it well with the flour that I have in the mat that I put first, and make it a bowl that now we're gonna leave it, maybe put it in a container or just put a little bit of tin foil over it. And what you're gonna do is leave it for the next, I say maybe 2 hours. I think that's what it says here. Yeah, put it into a bowl, wrap it in silicone, the mat, and prove it for start. It will raise around 30 minutes, and then preheat the oven at 200 degrees. I'm gonna use Betty to put it in, and in case of this, it will be between 20 and 30 minutes. So I'm gonna let it raise for maybe half an hour, then put it into the oven for 20 to 30 minutes, and my bread is done. So I'll show you later what is the end result. Have a fantastic day. I'm really happy I started really well with Betty here, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.